Saddam begs Khomeini on the eve of Kuwait invasion. Saddam Hussein, the former Iraqi dictator, being pleaded with Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei on the eve of his 1990 invasion of Kuwait to prevent him from committing what he called an act of suicide, and he begged Khomeini to stop him, because this act will lead to his own destruction. He says, "If I do it, I'm finished." He told Khomeini during their last meeting that took place in Tehran in June 1990, according to Iranian officials. The talks between the two leaders have been described as stormy. Apparently, Saddam was very nervous and kept shifting in his seat. And just days before the invasion, Saddam had sent a letter to Iran's president Hashemi Rafsanjani, pleading with him not to let the pan-Arab movement die. He said he did not want to be remembered as the one who extinguished the flame of the pan-Arab movement that was ignited by the late Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Interestingly, the letter was written in Arabic and sent through diplomatic channels. But it was Rafsanjani, who was close to Khomeini, who decided to pass it on to the supreme leader. In the letter, Saddam said that he wanted to be known as the leader who expanded and extended the pan-Arab idea in its territorial scope. The letter also indicated that Saddam felt compelled to liberate Kuwait because the Kuwaitis were being disobedient and were challenging Iraq's authority. And he even accused them of collaborating with the Zionist entity, as he referred to Israel, which was unacceptable to him. However, he also admitted that his plan was doomed to fail because he could impossibly win a war against the United States, and expressed his frustration at the Americans for supporting the Kuwaitis against him. Saddam's letter reads, "We are not pleased with the American role in the region, especially after the U.S. administration openly declared its support for Kuwait and its government and provided it with all forms of military and political assistance." According to Iranian officials, when Khomeini met with Saddam a few days later, he informed the Iraqi leader that he would not intervene in Kuwait for the sake of Islam or the Arabs, adding that it was none of Iran's business. However, during the meeting, Saddam begged Khomeini to prevent him from committing what he called an act of suicide, and he begged Khomeini to stop him, because this act will lead to his own destruction. He says, "If I do it, I'm finished." He even warned Khomeini that if he invaded Kuwait, millions of Iraqi soldiers would be killed, and he himself would either be killed or imprisoned for life. But Saddam still went ahead with the invasion despite Khomeini's refusal to help him. The meeting between Khomeini and Saddam was a significant one, as it was their last. The two leaders had a complex relationship marked by periods of cooperation and confrontation. They had previously worked together to fight against the Americans in the Iran-Iraq War. But their alliance fell apart when Saddam invaded Kuwait, and the Iranians supported the US-led coalition that fought against him. Interestingly, after the invasion, Saddam began targeting Iran and making threats against it. This led to fears that the conflict could escalate into a full-blown war between the two countries. However, it never happened. After the invasion, Saddam changed his rhetoric and began portraying the conflict as one between Arabs and non-Arabs. With the goal of mobilizing Arab public opinion in his favor, he also tried to portray the conflict as a religious one, calling on Sunni Muslims around the world to support him against the Shiite-dominated Iranian regime. However, the invasion of Kuwait led to Saddam's eventual downfall. The international condemnation and sanctions that followed the invasion crippled Iraq's economy and led to the toppling of his regime in 2003. In the aftermath of the invasion, Saddam was captured and tried for his crimes against humanity, and he was executed in 2006. Today, both Iraq and Kuwait are part of the U.S. sphere of influence, while Iran is considered a rival to the U.S. in the region. If you found this video informative, please subscribe and like it. Thank you for watching.